Hello Year 5 and welcome to your history lesson for today. Now this is going to be a very short lesson today because I'm not necessarily going to teach you much of the information. This is going to be a research based lesson for you. And what we're going to do is based on the research that you do and that you send in to me for me to be able to have a look at, I'm going to use to put together our second part of this lesson. So we're going to split this across two lessons. So our lesson that we look at next week will be a bit longer. And we're going to look at all of the research that you guys have done and we'll go through each part of it bit by bit, okay? So this is the opportunity for you to be a little bit creative, okay, and design something very colourful, using lots of facts, different designs, the way we usually do in lessons, for me to be able to use as part of our PowerPoints for next lesson. So we're going to be looking at what everyday life was like for a Mayan. Now we did this for our Tudor topic and you split off into different groups, you all looked at a specific topic and you drew all these different pictures and all this information, you then presented it to the class. That's what you're going to be doing today and it's going to inform the learning that we look at next week, okay? And any gaps that I think there might be, I'm going to add them in next week. So you're going to be looking at doing some of this research to find out what everyday life was like for the Maya. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to just pause the video and I want you to write down some questions about what you might like to find out about the lives of the ordinary men, women and children that lived in the times of the Maya. So just pause the video and jot down some questions. Could be about food, could be about school, education, lifestyle, what they lived in, what they wore, what they did for fun. Have a think about what type of questions you might like to know the answers for when we come around to doing this next lesson. So just pause the video and jot down some questions. Okay, so keep those questions in your mind, okay? And in the hope that each of these groups that do this research will help answer some of those questions for our lesson we look at next week. So we're going to look at 5 topics today and I am going to teach you one topic myself as part of next week's lesson, okay? And that lesson hopefully will be a focus of one of our literacy topics we're going to look at after the half term. So I've split you off into different groups and what I would like you to do is based on your group is you need to produce a small research project based on this specific part of the Mayan lifestyle, okay? So group A is going to be Amelia, Ria, Jobin, Sienna and Rahan. And what I would like you to focus on is to find out as much information as you can about Mayan homes, okay? Now, at the end of this document and the links that I've sent home to you, there are various links on the PDF document for you to be able to look at. Now, one of those links to all of the different aspects of the Mayan life if you click on the various hyperlinks, but I've sent home some child-friendly links for each topic that's being looked at so that you've got a basis of information to look for. So what I would like you to consider is what kind of houses did they live in? Okay, how many rooms did they have? What materials were they made from? Did they have windows? Did they have doors? What did people use their homes for? Okay, and how did they decorate them? And you might want to consider homes for the different hierarchy of people within society. So going back to our lesson last week, you had your lords, you had your ladies, you then had your people that organised society, then you had your noblemen, then you had the workers, then you had the farmers, then you had the slaves. So you might like to consider the different styles of homes that people had depending on their status within society. What I would like to do is to create an A4 poster, okay? You can add pictures, you can add colour, you can add bubble writing, that's going to answer all of those questions so that we have all the information we need for next week's lesson. So for Amelia, Ria, Job and Sienna Rahan, your task for this lesson is for you to research about the Mayan homes. Group B, okay, so Mariam, Brandon, Fatima, Maya, Damari and Bishi, you are going to look at Mayan clothing, okay? So again, I've sent some links home for you as well, in case you don't know where to look. I want you to think about what they used to make thread and cloth. I want you to think about what the ordinary men and women might have worn. You might even want to find out what royal people wore, so what the lords might have worn, what the noblemen, what the king might have worn, because you might find that the clothing might be slightly different. How are the clothes of important people different? Again, that's looking at our kings or noblemen. How were their clothes made? Okay, so thinking back to those days, they wouldn't have had modern day machinery like we have. So I want you to think about how they're made and also think about who made those clothes, because it's not going to be the king. He's not going to be making his own clothes. What was used to make different colours of cloth? Now that's going to be really, really interesting because they don't have the modern day technology that we have nowadays. So Marion, Brandon, Fatima, Maya, Damari and Bishi, your task is to create an A4 poster or research project about Mayan clothes. Make it as bright and as colourful as you possibly can. Group C, so Keaton, Rashay, Zara, Manila and Jonas, you're going to be looking at what the women used to do, okay? So you're going to want to look at what type of jobs they might have had, how they prepared meals, okay, what they wore. So you might have to look a little bit about their clothing as well. What tools might they have used? What tools might they use for cleaning? What tools might they use for cooking? Whether they did any craft themselves. Think about if they do crafts, what type of crafts might they do? Okay, so think about what they might do during the day or what their role is, and how did they raise their families. So again, you're looking a little bit at the family life in that one. So same for you, there are some links for you on the document for you to have a look at. Create yourself an A4 poster. Okay, it could be a bubble map, it could be boxes, it could be drawings, anything that you want, but see if you can answer all 6 of those questions with some of your information. Group D, so Kamaya, Sophia, Hannah, Liza, Dylan and Bethany, you're going to be looking at what Mayan children got up to, okay? So this is where you might want to think about school. So what did girls learn and what did boys learn, okay? Did they go to school, for that matter? Were they taught from home? Who taught them? What subjects might they have been taught? And think about how their life might have been different based on whether they were a boy or a girl. Okay, we know we go back to Tudor times or we go back to Egyptian times, or going back to lots of modern societies and dynasties way back in, different centuries. It was a woman's job to stay at home and it was a man's job to go out and to earn the money or to bring the food in. So let's see what might be different between boys and girls from the Mayan times. Think about maybe what they might have worn. Okay, they might have worn different types of clothing. Did they have any jobs? Were they expected to go work on the farms? Did they go and work in the palaces as slaves or as butlers? And think about how their life is different to the lifestyle that you have now, and that's going to be an interesting one. So same for you, A4 poster, use the links to help you. You might be able to find some pictures. You guys have got great art skills. Dylan, I know you've got fantastic art skills. Okay, so you can definitely have a go at drawing something on here. And I want you to present a piece of research, okay, so an information leaflet about what children would do in the Mayan times. And if you can have a go at answering all of those questions, I can then use some of your information on our PowerPoint next week. Now the last group of you, so group E, so Yazan, Heiting, Gracie, Eden, Deba and Megan, you guys are going to do some research about crafts, okay? Now Eden, Deba, Megan and Yazan, you were all at school together. So if it's easier for you to have a go at sitting and working together or trying to organise who's going to do what and creating one big massive A3 one, then that's brilliant, entirely up to you, okay? But you guys are going to be researching Mayan crafts, okay? So think about what materials they might have used. Okay, so think about whether they used mud, whether they would have used clay, whether wood or stone. Think about what things they made. Think about what we've learnt in previous lessons about musical instruments and the hieroglyphs. Think about what the purpose is. So why have they made them? What are the crafts there for? And were they things that could be traded? So are they things that could be traded between the different cities or even different countries to earn money and have value? Think about the tools that they might have needed. Would they have painted? Would they used natural materials? Would they have used wood? Would they have had metal to carve things? Would they have just used the sun to maybe bake clay? And think about how they decorated them. So this might go back to how we're going to get those bright, vibrant colours in from some of their craft work. Okay, so that's going to be your challenge. Now, I have sent home an information leaflet that briefly gives some additional information about all 5 of your topics. I've also sent home some pictures and some fact cards that will match as well, okay? Now, I haven't given anyone the food topic because I'm going to cover the food topic as part of our lesson 4 next week, okay? On the end of that document, you will also have been sent some links. Now, for those of you at school, you might not have access to those links because the document may be printed for you. But what you can do is you can type those websites into Google search and it will bring you up with the websites that you will need. Okay, so have a read of the information sheets, look at the pictures, by all means cut them up, stick them down, get bright, get colourful. And then for those of you at home, you're going to have sent your work in to me on Friday. And then if I get that, no, beg your pardon, you're going to have sent me that work in on Wednesday. So once you send me that work in on Wednesday, I can start putting together some of your posters for our lesson next week. So effectively, you will have all taught each other this entire part of our Mayan topic without my help. And I'm going to see if I can come up with some nice, bright and colourful information for us to look at Mayan food. I promise you, you're going to like it, really like it. So have a go at those information sheets. Go off and do some research. If you do get stuck or confused and you're looking for any research on Google, type in what it is you're looking for and either put Key Stage 2 or primary at the end of your Google search. And what that will do is that will bring up only child-friendly pages to help you. Now, all of the links I've sent home to you are child-friendly, but if you want to look for additional information, so if you're looking for Mayan houses, type in Mayan houses, and at the end, write Key Stage 2 or write primary, and that will bring you up with pages that's going to be helpful and useful for you guys to understand, okay? So, work hard. Give it a go. Brighten as colourful as you possibly can. For those of you at home, just try and work with what you have. But at the end of the day, I'm more worried about the facts that you're going to give me. And make it good quality work, please, Year 5. I want to be able to post some of this work on Twitter and on our display board when we return back to school. So make it good quality, otherwise it won't be on my PowerPoint next week. Okay? So give it a go and let me know how you get on. Okay? Good luck, Year 5.